What is up? How are we, everybody? You're very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda, the last one until Monday. So let's have a good evening tonight, a bit of fun. We'll talk about the title, of course, and I hope I can allay your fears. Real Madrid can be interested all they want in Rio Engamoa. They ain't getting them. So we'll talk about that tonight, when we can expect that contract to be signed. We'll have another little chuckle about Erik ten Hag and quite how bad he is as a coach. We'll talk about a few other interesting bits and pieces, including some more rejection from Newcastle. We'll talk about Michael OLISE and lots more over the course of the next 90 minutes or so. So I hope you're all in good spirits today. The international break is well and truly underway. So yeah, let us know what you're thinking and let's get stuck into it. So for those of you who are here nice and early, we're going to get stuck straight into the Rio story because no doubt I'll have to repeat it at some point. So let's get stuck into it early doors. So the 17-year-old is being monitored by Real Madrid according to Defensa Central. Now, that means absolutely nothing. They can look at, monitor, have a glance towards, do whatever they want, but they're not going to get their hands on our boy because Liverpool are, of course, going to tie him down to his first professional contract. He turned 17 last week. I don't know how long the deal is going to be for. I'm sure Liverpool will look to tie him down as quickly and as long as we can, but it'll be a short-term deal anyway, because if Rio comes in as a good season, Liverpool will want to up that wage again. So I don't think we've anything to be concerned about, but I was more looking at tonight's stream title as a way of showing quite how big a deal Rio Engamoa is, because we know how hard Chelsea fought to keep him. Now we know that he's already having glances from the likes of Real Madrid, but of course Rio was no interested in going to Real Madrid. He's a red and he's going to want to stay with Liverpool. So nice and early, let's just get that story up and then we can have a chat about that one. I see a lot of people panicking in the chat beforehand. Look, Real Madrid can be interested, like I said. That doesn't mean anything. I'm interested in lots of stuff I'm not going to have. I'm interested in putting a brand new Ferrari in the driveway, but it ain't going to happen. Maybe. So, what are you thinking? And by the way, the new deal for Rio, people believe it'll only be worth about £1,000 a week. I say only. Still a decent wage for a normal human being like you and I. But yeah, no huge money here for Rio Engamoa. Currently, he's on about £300 a week. And insiders at Liverpool believe that the new deal that will be going to him won't be worth much more than about £1,000 a week. So I can't imagine he'll be keeping that deal for very long before there's another new deal put in front of him. So, where are we at then? Mark, nice to see you, and as always, Mary, lovely. Keane, lovely to see you. Mr. Crosby. Shout out to Tommy for the greatest 20 minutes of five-a-side ever witnessed, said Connor. Now, I didn't witness this, so I'm going to have to take his word on it. So, Tommy, shout out, mate. Well done. What a 20 minutes of five-a-side. Legendary stuff already, Tommy. So, shall we have a little chuckle at Erik ten Hag? Because I couldn't believe what I was reading here, ladies and gents. So, Transfer News Live, sourcing Build for the credit for this one, they said the reasons Erik ten Hag was sacked at Bayer Leverkusen, well, he didn't get along with anybody at the club apparently, including his own staff that he brought to Germany himself. On top of that, the players didn't understand why doing push-ups was as important as ball work. The atmosphere within the club was extremely cold. The players had no idea what they were supposed to be doing during matches, and he's now considered, according to Bill, the worst coach in the history of Bayer Leverkusen. That is some accomplishment for a man who did all of 2 games, I believe, in charge of Leverkusen in a competitive environment. It's great money, as I mentioned the other day, if you can get it. Just shy of 20 million quid from getting fired from your last 2 jobs. I mean, I'll take on Bayer Leverkusen's job and you can fire me for 5 million if you want, when I show you I'm not good enough. So let's have a little chuckle about Mr. Ten Hag on that one. The Mirage saying thank you, sir, for becoming a member before we went live as well. Lovely to see you in, my friend. G or Xmit or Grexmit or whatever way I'm supposed to pronounce that one. Welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras as well. Mike, 25 months, Mike. And I know Mike's excited because tonight the NFL resumes and Mike's Eagles open up against the Cowboys. So nice to see you, Mike, and WFM to you as well, my friend. Richie, love it. Craig just received my ISAK 9 shirt. Nice one. Connor's still waiting for his one. I think there was a bit of a backlog. That shows you how important ISAK signing was for the club, both commercially and on the pitch. Glad you've got it though. Hope you're enjoying it as well, Richie. Is it the home or away one, mate? I think it was the home one if I remember you correctly from yesterday, but it's a belter of a shirt. It really does. And I think the gold badge on the sleeve really sets it off as well. So, let's talk a little bit about ISAK while we're discussing his shirt. So Lewis Steele said that the plan is for ISAK to train with his teammates when they report back to the AXA on next Thursday, after the international break, and he said he'd expect to see him on the bench at Turf Moor for the game against Burnley, providing there are no issues or, of course, no injuries or niggles picked up on international duty. The Mark Gay situation is an interesting one as well. This looks like it's taken a few more twists and turns. Lewis Steele was asked whether he believes Liverpool will go back in for Mark Gay. He said yes. I asked this question to many sources around Liverpool on Monday evening, and the word back was that they still really like him and he wants to play for them. As far as I'm aware, the Reds are plotting another move for Mark Gay in the near future, and they would probably get an even bigger discount. The figure that was talked about was about 20 to 25 million, which I still think is probably giving Steve Parrish too much money, but let's wait and see what happens, whether it is a January move or whether we see him maybe coming at the end of the season. Right, let's get going. This one. Mateo said, did you see Sale next year to Saudi? Or do I see a Mo Sale next year to Saudi? It would be unfair of me to say, Mateo, because, I don't know what the plans are. We'll talk about Michael Olise, of course, and Liverpool's interest there. But, if we go off Mohamed Salah and his agent's last situation, they didn't want him being sold with 1 year to go, because, of course, it would take a whole lot of money out of Mo's hands. I don't know if anything has changed there, mate, but we know he signed a 2-year deal with Liverpool, and we all want him to be successful, of course. I know he hasn't had the brightest of starts this season, but there's plenty of reasons for that. So I don't know if there's a sale on the cards. I don't know if there's a move on the cards in a year, because we don't even know what the situation is with Olise. Some think maybe Liverpool go next year. Some think it could be the year after. So I'm not sure. But I don't want to be wishing Mo away either, because we only just got him tied down to a new deal. So let's just find the best way to get him putting the ball in the back of the net, and then we can talk about it from a better place. On that, actually, let's talk a little bit about Mo saying get used to some of the new signings. This is what Mo said when he was talking about getting used to the movements of the likes of Ekitike and stuff. He said, I knew where to start with Diogo or Darwin. I knew where to find them. I knew their game very well. But with Hugo, he's still new. Sometimes I need the ball in the field. Sometimes we need it in space. We tried to figure that out through the training sessions or like the videos the manager shows us. So I'll figure it out soon, because it's going to help my game to grow as well. Which is true. These relationships are important. As he said, whatever we thought about maybe the likes of Darwin Núñez, they knew each other's movements. They knew what they were going to do, and they had seemingly a very good friendship. So I'm sure over time that will develop as well with Hugo Ekitike and the likes of Florian Wirtz. Brian Jardine said, Craig, finally got a date for my heart surgery next Friday. Just wanted to say thank you for all your content as always. Brilliant. Well, I hope that it goes well for you, sir. I'm not exactly sure what the procedure is, but it's your heart, so it's important, obviously. And I'm glad you got the date for it. And I hope that everything goes as planned, Brian. And we see you back in here soon, my man. Sending you love and best wishes, sir. Richie said, home shirt with Wirtz on the away one. But up the Reds. Nice. Nice. On the home shirt, we love that. It's a belter of a shirt this year, Richie, isn't it? I really, really do like Liverpool's new home shirt. Elvis, the king is in the building. How are we, sir? Seeing Bayern fans say they won't sell their best players to smaller clubs and that Madrid are the only club that are bigger. Cool. But ultimately, money talks, release clauses talk, and Bayern can waffle all they want. We've seen big clubs this summer when Bayern were being rejected left, right and centre after player after player after player. I think it's just the Premier League is where the money is as well. And Olise will want to come back to the Premier League at some point. It's a good move for him over there. Bayern Munich, it probably took a few of us by surprise, but it's a very good club. And I'm not going to disrespect Bayern the same way they seemingly are happy to disrespect us to the Premier League. I think Bayern are a fantastic club. But I also think that Liverpool and other Premier League clubs will have the financial means to make Michael Olise a realistic target. Now, whether he joins or not, that remains to be seen. But if Liverpool have him in their eyes as the replacement, well, we've got a year or two to figure it out. And I think we'll certainly be able to do it financially. So let's wait and see what happens. I wanted to talk about Newcastle for a minute, because Giovanni Leone was another player who turned down the possibility of joining Newcastle. Just when you think the fun never ends with Newcastle, here's another little bit. So, There was a piece today that was speaking about the fact that, yes, he did join Liverpool, but their chief executive of Parma, Federico Cherubini, revealed that Leone's desire to move to the Premier League ultimately proved decisive despite interest from Newcastle. He said, "I've always said we wanted to keep Giovanni. He's always said he'd be happy to stay here. We even turned down an offer from Newcastle, which was more advantageous than the one Liverpool eventually made. When the Reds came forward, our plans changed, both because the offer was very attractive and because the boy made it clear he was very happy to take advantage of this opportunity. On the one hand, it's disappointing to lose such a promising young player, but on the other hand, we're proud to have believed in him in unsuspecting times when he'd only played a few games in Serie B." So there you go. Newcastle rejected yet again. Oh well, that's a shame, isn't it? We move on. So is this serious news that they want Rio? I don't know. Ask the paper that wrote it. I'm not trying to be rude. I can't tell you how serious their interest is or not, mate. That would be me just clutching at straws and guessing. But the report in Defensa Central says, and I'll read it, Liverpool wonderkid Rio Enquiries is attracting the serious interest, they write, of Real Madrid. The 17-year-old is being closely monitored by Xabi Alonso's side, according to Defensa Central. How serious that interest is, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin guessing. But they're not getting him, I can tell you that much. So, also, two of our boys have been nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month for August. Those two players are Dominic Szoboszlai and Ugo Ekitike. So congratulations to both those gents. It's been a very good start to the Premier League season, of course. The Reds unbeaten, 3 wins in 3. And Ekitike and Dominic Szoboszlai have both been fantastic performers. So fingers crossed one of the boys gets the nod and gets the award. Bit of a mad one. Did you see Josh Brownhill has gone over to the Saudi Pro League? Just seen this one earlier on. 100 grand a week for 2 years. Tax free as well. So, Mohamed Salah. I know that everybody was focusing yesterday on the Mohamed Salah Anfield edition, or excuse me, is it edition? Yeah, Anfield edition, on that little tete-a-tete. But there was something else that caught my eye from Mo, and it was him speaking about advice that he gave to Rio Enquiries. And I have to say, I think this is brilliant advice from Mo. He said, "I told Rio after the game, when he scored against Newcastle, just leave the social media stuff alone. You can be happy about the goal with your family and with your friends. But you don't really get engaged and just, don't really get engaged and just get your appreciation from the outside world, because it's always going to be fake. You're going to always seek that." He's very wise in what he says, and he's right. If you start going, I can tell you this from my perspective, it's very easy to get caught up in positive feedback, likes, numbers, and stuff like that. So I can imagine that on steroids if you're a professional footballer, and especially such a young hot commodity like Rio Enquiries. Really good advice there from Mo. Ignore social media. I'm trying to say that to my own kids in life. Get off social media, ignore it, because a lot of it is fake. And when things are going well for you, everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody wants to praise you. Everybody wants to tell you how great you are. But as soon as the form starts to waver a little bit, I think that's what Mo's saying to him. Very quickly then you'll realise how shallow some of that stuff is. And I'd like to know what you guys think about that advice from Mo, because I think it's pretty much spot on, to be fair, and advice that I would certainly give any younger person out there. Whether you're famous or not, social media is it's a tricky, hollow, shallow place at times. Not here in Anfield Agenda, though, because I've got the best community on the internet, which I'm very proud about. Right, Tanya said, "Yeah, having time off makes me wonder what happens." Well, nothing will happen, hopefully, Tanya. If there's, heaven forbid, an injury or anything like that, of course I'll make a video about it. But yeah, I'm taking tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday off. I'm going to be at the boxing in Dublin tomorrow. I'm going out for dinner with my family on Saturday. And Sunday, I'm going to just sit here and watch the NFL all day and all night and enjoy it. I'm going to miss you all, though, for a few days. It is only 3 days, but, I miss you guys after 1 day, let alone 3. So I'm looking forward to it, because truth is, Tanya, I really do need the time off. But yeah, always want to check back in with you guys as well. Jinx Gaming said Wirtz is off form, it seems. Honestly, for the national team, mate, for Germany, I don't care, as long as he doesn't get an injury. And I don't mean it just for him, I say it for all the players. I just want our boys to come back. And look, some of them this will be actually quite good for. So Conor Bradley playing there tonight for Northern Ireland, good for him to get more minutes into his legs. Any minutes that Alexander ISAK gets, of course, even just training with the Swedish team, that's going to be a benefit as well. So as long as the boys come back without an injury, happy days. Whether their form is good or bad, it remains to be seen. But I just want them injury free. Rory said, glad you're having some time for yourself and the family. Yeah, I've got to, mate. If I don't do it during the quieter times, I'll never get a chance to. So I have to force myself into a few days every now and again. 32 subs required. Oh, was it that close? 33 now. Ladies and gents, if you can help us out, if you are new, be lovely to hit it while we're live on a stream. 33 subscribers to go to get to 350,000, which is incredible. And again, thank you so much for your continued support. Philly Reds, how are we? Excited about tonight? The NFL back in action, taking on the Cowboys. Hey Craig, hope you're well. My son's home Diogo and my away Diogo jerseys arrived yesterday. Gotta say, that away long sleeve jersey is pure class. Yeah, they're all nice this year, to be fair. Now, the away one wouldn't be quite my cup of tea colour-wise, but I can understand and appreciate why others would like it. Connor ordered himself the away one with ISAK 9 on the back of it. So I hope that yourself and your son are happy with your purchases. Lovely little gesture as well to put Diogo on the back of both, sir. Phil Keeley said, we'll miss you, Craig, love. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Look, I will be putting up a video because I wanted to do like a wrap-up of the transfer window and kind of give you my score, if you want, for the transfer window. So I'm going to record that over the next couple of days and put it out on one of the days that I'm off because I think it's a good thing to do, at the end of the window, just have a look at it. And on that, I actually brought in a list tonight of the clubs in and around us that we would view as competitors and their transfer business. So I thought we could have a little chat about that tonight and see who we think's done good business, who we think maybe is left a little bit to be desired. But ultimately, I do think, bias, of course, but we've done the best business. So I'll run through that list in 1 second. Harry said, hi Craig, hope you're well. How's the fam? Good, yeah. My daughter's out playing a bit of pool at the minute. My son's upstairs doing his homework and my missus is at the gym. And the doggo's asleep in the kitchen. Who would you sign in January and in the summer? I would get Gay, Schlotterbeck, Elise and Wharton. Can't rely on Gravenberch and Mo. So, I don't know what to expect in the longer term. In the winter, I think it will probably just be Mark A or nothing. Maybe there'll be an injury or something that could cause us to go into the market. But I'm not expecting too much in January, Harry. Next summer, God, I don't know. Wharton's a good shout. And it seems like every club in Europe is interested in him. But apart from that, Elise, yes, but will it be next summer? I don't know when Liverpool may plot that move. It could depend on the form of Mo over the course of the season. But the names that you've all suggested there are certainly good shouts, Harry. Right, so let's start talking about our competitors and did they strengthen enough in the transfer window. So let's look at Arsenal first. I might as well do this in some alphabetical order. So they've brought in Kepa for 5 million quid. Zubamendi from Real Sociedad for 55 million quid. Noni Madueke from Chelsea for 52 million quid. Christian Norgard from Brentford for 12 million quid. Christian Mosquera from Valencia, 13 million quid. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting, 63.5 million. Eberici Eze from Palace, 60 million. And Piero Hincapié, loan, but I believe there's an option in there at about 50-something million. So looking through that list, Gyökeres, I think people are probably split on. Some think he's a good signing. Some, like myself, feel he's a bit meh. Madueke, I'm not really that worried about that signing. And in fact, I think they could have spent that 52 million better. Zubamendi's a good midfielder, like I've said. Over the course of the season, I do think he'll work well. And Eze is the other one there that sticks out to me. So, Arsenal. If we were to grade Arsenal, ladies and gentlemen, A, B, C, D on the transfer business, let's put it to a poll. So let's say grade Arsenal's business. We'll run this poll. We'll run a poll on every team we talk about. So 1 second. So, grade Arsenal's transfer window. We will go A, B, C, and can you guess what comes next? Alphabet enthusiasts will be happy. So, grade Arsenal transfer window, A, B, C, or D. Remember, the ones we're talking about are the incomings here. So, Kepa for 5 million, Zubamendi for 55 million, Madueke 52 million, Norgard 12 million, Mosquera 13 million, Gyökeres 63.5 million, Eze 60 million, and Nkapie alone with an option to buy. So click on the old poll there and we'll revisit that in a couple of minutes and we'll talk about their score and we'll compare it then to others. Now look, I suppose while we're starting out, we might as well talk about our own window a little bit as well to give people a chance to vote. So Arsenal's arrivals in this summer's transfer window, obviously I've just laid out for you, but Liverpool's are Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, 30 million. Armin Petri from Puskas Academia, 1.5 million. Florian Wirtz, Bayer Leverkusen, 116 million. Milos Kerkez, Bournemouth, 40 million. Freddie Woodman, Preston, free. Ugo Ekitike, Eintracht Frankfurt, 79 million. Giovanni Leone, Parma, 26 million. And Alexander Isak, Newcastle, £125 million. That is an extraordinary window for me. Obviously, the two big standouts that jump off the page for the Reds, Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak. But let's not forget about Ugo Ekitike in there as well for just under 80 million quid, meaning Liverpool spent close to £105 million to bring in two centre forwards in this window. I think we've had the best window, but then again, of course, I'm going to say that. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I wouldn't have always been saying we've had the best window because there's been plenty of windows, let's be honest, that haven't been great for us. So where are we going with this one? We'll only run these polls for a few minutes just so people can get a quick vote on them. We'll try and get it up towards 1,000 if we can. So if you're just coming in, we're asking you to grade Arsenal summer transfer window A, B, C or D, and then we'll see what you guys think come the end of it. While you guys are voting on that, let's drop back into the news and get back onto some other stories. Roy Hodgson, I know, it's a name enough to send shivers down your spine, isn't it, when you hear it, and not in a good way. So Roy Hodgson has been speaking about Mark Gay and the failed move to Liverpool, and this is what he had to say. He's the person I feel really sorry for because right at the beginning it had been made clear his task ahead would be to stay at Crystal Palace and there'd be no question. He'd be leaving in a transfer window, then I'm sure he would have got his head around that. But having been led to believe sooner or later a deal would be done between the clubs, I guess that his head for the last period of time has been that he was going to move. He's the loser in the situation. He is. Although Steve Parish, I think, longer term will suffer for this financially. And while we're talking about chairman, Daniel Levy stepped down today as Spurs chairman after 25 years. So that is a huge bit of upheaval there for Spurs as well. Some Spurs fans, I'm sure, be very happy about that. But whatever you do think about Daniel Levy, he did guide Spurs into that new stadium, which is a very, very, having been there on a couple of occasions, it's a very impressive building. So what we say overall, good time for him at Spurs or bad time? Well, delivered the European Cup, the Europa League, but still a big European trophy. Had them in Champions League on a few occasions. Has just brought them in a good manager as well. So I think overall, Daniel Levy's done a good job there at Spurs. But again, I'm not a Spurs fan, so I'm sure they have a stronger opinion on it. Is it really 2-0 now to Slovakia? Ooh, that's not great for the Germans, especially at the start of the World Cup campaign. They'd be wanting a win on that one. Why can't Grav have a better song? Who decides the songs? I mean, I don't think anyone, actually, I don't think there's a committee that decides them, but usually, you know, you've got the lads who are on the COP, you've got the lads at Boss Night and a few of the other musicians and stuff. They'd all have a play around with a few, and it depends what catches on, really. But look, I am up for giving Grafenberg improvements. No problem with that one. Happy Craigo. Alexander Ivanov, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Thank you. Right, we're only 27 away now. 27 subscribers. Can we get there tonight to get to 350,000? Would love to do it on the last stream before I take a break. So, if you are new and you haven't yet subscribed, please do. Look here, Netherlands boys are doing well. That was 1-0 last I'd seen. Is there any update on that score? I know it was a goal from Dumfries, if I'm not mistaken, but an assist from Memphis Depay. Johan Thomas said, what's happening with Rio? Nothing is happening, mate. Nothing is happening, but Real Madrid are interested in him, but that doesn't really mean anything. They're interested in him, but Liverpool are going to tie him down to his first professional contract very soon, and I'm sure even after that, I would be very surprised if at the end of this season we don't see RIO get another improvement in that contract. It's good to know Madrid are interested, but they can be interested from afar because they ain't getting them. Did you see the James Pearce report about the new academy training facility? I did. I read the article earlier on. I'll talk about it to some degree now in a minute, but yes, I did read it earlier on, and it's brilliant. Well done to FSG on that one as well, and I will move on to talk about that once we get the second poll sorted. Right, we need another 200 votes so we can end this one. We're asking you to grade Arsenal's transfer window, and then we'll move on to Chelsea, who are next up. So Arsenal brought in Kepa for 5 million, Zubimendi for 55, Madueke for 52, Norgard 12, Mosquera 13, Gyökeres 63.5, Eze 60, and then Nkapie on loan. Once we get to 1,000 votes, we'll knock that one on the head. So we've about 180 left to go. Right, well, we're talking about trainee only, which we aren't, but I'm going to now. Ben Bochak put out a post earlier on to say the trainee only played as left back for England's under-19 side this week, completing 93% of his passes in the game, winning 2 out of his 3 ground duels. And he said, very interesting to see him being tried out in that role. Slot also used him as a centre-back back in pre-season. Trey is becoming very versatile, which of course he is. Right, 150 left to go on the vote. So if you haven't, please do click in, vote on that one. We like to get to a round number. So if we can get up to 1,000, that would be great. And then we'll move on to Chelsea's business. Happy Craigo said, would have loved De Jong at Liverpool. Tiki-taka. Just too much money, though. Like, he's on, I think he's the highest paid player, or maybe he was before Mbappe came. I'm not sure if it's changed. He was the highest paid player in La Liga. Some astounding amount of money, like €600,000 a week or something like that. 6-year deal at 8k a week if he gets to the levels he will this season. Well, it's believed, Lewis, that the contract Rio's going to sign is going to be about £1,000 a week at first, which is up from his £300 a week scholar contract he's on now. Right, 100 votes to go, and then we can close off the Arsenal one. And so far, you guys seem to be pretty adamant what the score is there for Arsenal. 20 subscribers left as well to get us to the 350 mark. Right, what else have we got? So I'm going to move on in a sec to talk about the situation with the academy, which is brilliant news, by the way, and another 20 million quid investment coming into that structure. So Cody Gakpo has been speaking about the approach from Bayern Munich for him this summer, because not only were they looking at Diaz, Cody Gakpo was another player they looked at, and Cody'd been speaking about this, and he said, from what I understand, Bayern did come. I already told the club that I'm happy and that my family is happy in England. We feel at home, and I think that's very important. Now, what he also said was that his contract that he extended very recently with the club, that discussion was going on for around a year before that contract was all worked out and signed. So, yeah, it's always really interesting to see how long these things are in the works. A year to sort out a contract extension. That's actually quite a long time when you think about it. A year. But he got it signed, and that's the most important thing. I've yet to see the new wage figure, actually. Don't know if any of you guys seen it floating around on social media, but I haven't seen the number. Be interested to know what his new wages are. Glenn said, when do you think ISAK will play his first game for us? He's not had a pre-season or been actively training with Newcastle. So I guess it depends what you mean by his first game. I can imagine he'll get some minutes off the bench, whether that's against Burnley, whether that's against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, I'm not sure. But I don't think it'll be too long. You know, he'd be training, obviously, with the Swedish team. Let's see if he gets some minutes there or how he gets on. I know the Swedish medical team have been speaking with their counterparts at Liverpool to come up with a plan because, as you've mentioned, mate, he didn't have a pre-season. What's your thoughts on FSG after this window? I know you've not been a fan in the past. Look, I got to give them their credit. How could I be anything other than complimentary to backing the manager in the way that they did? You know, that's all I ever wanted. I have other things that FSG have done wrong, in my opinion, over the years, but, you know, a lot of that's been and gone. So, yeah, I call it as I see it, and how could I not be happy? So, full credit to the ownership group for backing the manager the way they have. Right, we've got the 1,000 votes now. 56% of you guys went for B, giving Arsenal a grade B in their summer transfer business. Next one up, we're going to talk about Chelsea. So, grade Chelsea's business. So, sec, we will go A, B, C, D. So, going to ask you to grade Chelsea's transfers, and while you're doing that, let me talk you through them. So, this is the business, the incomings that Chelsea Football Club have done in this window. Remember as well, they brought in about 314 or 320 million pound. So, their ins, they brought in Estavio from Palmeiras, 56 million pound. Liam Delap from Ipswich, 30 million pound. Dario Asugo from Sporting Lisbon, 18.8 million pound. Kendi Pays, Independiente, 8.4 million. Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg, an undisclosed fee. João Pedro from Brighton, 60 million pound. Jamie Gittins, Borussia Dortmund, 48.5 million pound. Jurel Haddo from Ajax, 38.5 million pound. Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United, 40 million pound. And Facundo Buonanotte from Brighton on loan. So the big ones there really that jump off the page are Estavio, 56 million, Delap, 30 million. On top of that, there was João Pedro, 60 million, Jamie Gittins, 48.5 million, Jurel Haddo, of course, who Liverpool were looking at as well, 38.5 million, and Garnacho, 40 million. I'm not really sure about their business, is my honest answer. Estavio looks like a good player. He does. Liam Delap, I don't think. I really am shocked why he went to Chelsea, Delap. I think that's the wrong move for him. If he had went somewhere like Newcastle or elsewhere, I think he would have actually progressed more than I think he will at Chelsea. João Pedro, I think that is a good signing. I think maybe the price is a little bit higher than he's worth because of the clause, but 60 million quid feels a lot. Haddo with 38.5 million. It does feel a little bit on the high side, but not too much, to be fair. I would have valued Haddo at about 30, 35 million, so just a little bit. And then Garnacho, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to think of the Garnacho signing. Because he was very inconsistent at Manchester United, but maybe he will knuckle down and be a little bit better there. Virginia, thank you for being with us as a member for 3 months, Virginia, said ISAK looked really good in team training with Sweden. He also looked happy, which made me smile, Virginia, because it must have been a very difficult time over the past few months for him. Chelsea are always the best sellers. Hate that. They churn through such a lot of players, though, don't they? I mean, I don't know what the number count is now, but I know it was like 52 the last time I checked over the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, they make a lot of money through player sales. I'll give them that, they do, but a lot of turnover there as well. Simon makes a good point. Simon Tennant said Chelsea's transfer business is hard to grade. Do you take into account their feeder club Strasbourg and the trades within, or just the buys by Chelsea alone? I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's a fair point that you've raised. I would say take it all on board. You know, whether it's Strasbourg to Chelsea, anybody that came through the door to Stamford Bridge, I guess, would be what I would say. Chelsea will always be a team of players and not an actual team. I do like that comment as well. Must be very hard to knit that group of players together, though, when you've so much churn and so much change. I heard something yesterday that was really interesting, and it was going all the way back to Paqueta when he nearly went to Manchester City. Apparently, that could have seen Cole Palmer going to West Ham. That would have been very interesting. And of course, it looks like Paqueta may take the Premier League to court over those charges, those betting charges against him that, of course, were proven, and he was cleared of all of them. And the more I read into it and the more I hear about those charges, it definitely did feel like they were overreaching from the Premier League. There was a good discussion about them on Sky Sports last night, and it was actually shocking to hear some of the information. Colin said, genuinely, how excited are you to watch ISAK and Flo? Very, very excited, mate. I cannot wait for, some of these big Champions League nights when the boys are settled in. We've Real Madrid coming to town. It's going to be brilliant. Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, Ugo Ekitike, and the 2 new fullbacks as well, bombing down either side. It'd be good to have Jeremy Frimpong back as well after the international break. Away trips to the likes of Burnley is where you would think somebody like him could really help us out. But would he be ready to start? Probably not at that point. Right, we have about 670 votes, so keep voting away if you haven't. We're asking you to grade Chelsea's summer transfer business with regards to their incomings. We only need 17 subscribers as well, folks. Just 17 to go till 350. So, again, Chelsea signings, Estavio Willian from Palmeiras, 56 mil. Liam Delap, 30 million. Dario Asugo from Sporting Lisbon, 18.8 million. Honestly, never heard of him. Kennedy Pays, Independiente, 8.4 million. Mamadou Sarr, Strasbourg, undisclosed. João Pedro, Brighton, 60 mil. Jamie Gittins, Dortmund, 48.5 million. Joel Haddo, 38.5 million. Garnacho, 40 million. And Buonanotte on loan. Animal, thank you for gifting 10 memberships, mate. That's very kind of you. Oh, bit of Anfield Agenda behind the scenes news for you. We've bought a new camera. We did listen to your feedback. We were shopping for one anyway. But somebody said to us the other day they'd noticed a downgrading in the quality of the picture over the last while. And you're right. We're burning through the lens on the camera quite quickly when we're streaming like we do. So we've got a new one on the way, an upgraded one again. So hopefully you'll notice the difference if and when that one arrives over the next couple of weeks. It's the biggest non-computer investment we've yet made on the channel. So yeah, quite expensive, but looking forward to it. Hopefully it improves the look. Can't help about this ugly fella here, but maybe if he's a bit clearer, that'll help. Have we rated Newcastle's window? No, I'm only rating the big clubs. So our actual competition, which is Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, that's the ones I'm going to rate, the ones that could be in and around us for the league title. Arsenal got a B, by the way, from the audience for their grade. So we are 200 votes away now from the 1,000. Next up's going to be Manchester City. I couldn't help it. You set me up for it, what I mean? You set me up for it. I couldn't not say, no, I'm only doing the big clubs. I did flirt with Newcastle's one, though. I did have it there. And then I thought, nah, you know what? I'm not doing Newcastle. Because I'm sick of Newcastle. I'm sure you're all fed up of listening to Newcastle anything at this point, because I know I am. Thank you, sir. Animal said, evening, brother. Just wanted to say, I hope you enjoy your family weekend. It's well earned. That's very kind of you, mate. Thank you. I hate time off, though. I'm not good at taking time off. I always think everyone's going to disappear when I take time off, but I do need it. I really, really do. It's been an absolutely phenomenal summer for us. In August alone, we did 12 million views on the channel, on YouTube, on our main channel, which is incredible. It's I'm not sure if it's quite a record, but it's right up there with our highest ever as well. Thoughts on Glasner? He's a great coach, but his contract, I think, is up at the end of the season with Palace as well. So be interesting to see if he moves on or if he stays there. Be some shithouse thing to do if he moans about Mark A and then leaves. But let's wait and see. Right, 130 votes to go. I also got some steroids off the doctor from my ear. So finally, hopefully I'll be able to hear you by the end of the international break properly. Not that you're saying anything. But yeah, still waiting for start steroids for my right ear. The 350k countdown is on. I know it's so tantalizingly close. 16 away now. Just 16 subscribers. So if anybody hasn't subscribed that is watching, you could make a massive difference now on tonight's stream by hitting that subscribe button. Lolly, how are you, sir? Lovely to see you win. Hope you're well. Hello. They can all play football or they wouldn't be in the Premier League. Wins are depending on the club, manager, attitude, fans and mental readiness. Are they a happy team? See, there is a lot to that, Lolly. Being a happy team is important. And that's one thing that always strikes me when I see our boys training together or playing together. They look like they get on and they're a good group. Obviously, I can't speak to every other club, but it does look like there's a great atmosphere at Anfield. So yeah, let's wait and see. Right, While we're waiting for the last poll to hit 1,000, let me talk you through the academy stuff that somebody mentioned earlier on. Now, this full article's on The Athletic if you have a chance yourself, but this is just a snippet of the article. So, initially, James Pearce said, no, that's actually on Academy Players. This one. Liverpool are set to embark on a £20 million redevelopment of their academy, the biggest transformation of their youth training base since it was opened in 1998. Owners, Fenway Sports Group, view it as recognition of the huge contribution the academy has made to Liverpool's success in recent years. An indoor dome will be built on the current main pitch and connected to the existing academy building, which will undergo an extensive revamp on the site at Kirkby, 9 miles northeast of the city. The dome will give Liverpool a full-sized indoor pitch for the first time. There will be enhanced medical and sports science areas as well. The outdoor artificial surface will be replaced with a grass pitch, which will also become the centrepiece with a new stand for around 500 spectators. A planning application is set to be submitted this month, and Liverpool hope that the project will be completed in 2028. So again, sincerely, well done FSG on this one. Like, what else can you say? That's brilliant. Another 20 million investment. Obviously, 50 million went to build the AXA, and now 20 million investment in the academy. And then you got to understand why they're putting that money into the academy as well. And I'm going to talk you through that now. So James Pearce has said the data shows that Liverpool's academy products accounted for 18% of total Premier League minutes played under Arne Slot last season in their title-winning season. A higher percentage than any other top-flight club, with Manchester United at 16.3%, second, and Chelsea third. That surprised me. I didn't think that Liverpool would have had the highest percentage of academy graduates out there on the pitch for them last year in the title-winning season. Very, very impressive stuff that we were the highest, 18%. So on top of that, former academy players who Liverpool have sold this summer brought in quite a bit of money as well. So Trent, £8.4 million. Queeveen Kelleher, £18 million. Nat Phillips, £3 million. Jarell Quansah went to Bayer Leverkusen for £30 million. Tyler Morton, £13 million. And Ben Doak from Bournemouth, £25 million. So you can see why the investment has been made there. It's been very fruitful to the club, bringing through these players, and well done to FSG again, sincerely. Right, so again, you've gone for B for Chelsea. So 47% this time gave Chelsea a B, same as Arsenal. Next highest vote was C, which is 33%, A 12%, and D 6%. So last up, we're going to do Manchester City's. So let me just get this one up. That's what she said. Right, so grade Man City's window. A, B. Fans of C are going to be excited here. C. And D, which is what the missus will be getting. So, grade Man City's window. A, B, C, or D. Now let me walk you through their signings. So, Manchester City brought in Ray Knight-Nuri from Wolves, £36 million. Marcus Bettinelli from Chelsea on a free. Ryan Cherky from Lyon, £31 million. Gianni Reinders from AC Milan, £46.5 million. Naipan from Rosenborg, £12.5 million. James Trafford from Burnley, £31 million. And Gianluigi Donnarumma from Paris Saint-Germain, £26 million. So, rate that one, ladies and gents. I'm going to say I hope you rate this one lower than a B, because I don't really see much of an impressive window there, in all honesty. I don't. Nuri's a good, solid player, but not a scary player. Bettinelli, don't know much about, to be honest. Cherky, well, I think he's overhyped and he's already out and injured for them for a while. Reinders is probably the most impressive one of those signings to me. I think that's a very good piece of business, and £46.5 million seems like a fair price. Donnarumma is an interesting one, because they just brought in Trafford. And imagine how upset Newcastle fans will be here, because they wanted Trafford and he ended up going to Manchester City only to be gazumped then when they brought in Gianluigi Donnarumma from Paris Saint-Germain for 26 million. So the thought process and the thinking behind that's really interesting, because neither of those two can really do what Pep Guardiola wanted from his goalkeepers originally, which is play out from the back in the same way that Ederson did, and obviously Alisson does for us. So have to say it's weird, because now we've seen Manchester City move for somebody, very tall, very good shot stopper, very commanding of his area, like Liverpool having gone and obviously brought in our backup goalkeeper. Very similar thing there from Ahmedashvili. Different from Alisson in how he uses the ball at his feet, but a good, strong presence, good aerially, and a good shot stopper. So is the goalkeeper role already starting to shift now in the Premier League? Are we going back to what would we call a kind of old-fashioned goalkeepers? Right, so the vote, yes, good stuff. The vote is nearly halfway there for Manchester City. Do keep voting on it. We're asking to grade their transfer business A, B, C or D. Right, couple of super chats to get through. David Massett, hope you got home safe and sound, sir, from the holiday. I'm gathering you probably did because you're here with us, bro, and thank you so much for your super chat. Appreciate you. Rowan said, if you could sign any DM in January, who would it be? Probably Wharton, because the homegrown aspect is important. Good age profile. You would be concerned with some of the injuries that he's had, but probably him, to be honest with you. Thinking around other Premier League midfielders, Baleba would be a very interesting one to get in. Do like him as a player, but the price that was quoted initially by Brighton was astronomical. So yeah, probably Wharton. Okay. I was confused by this one, John. I was like, huh? John from near Liverpool? Hey, Craig, you knew me as John Edinger, but thought it's time for a name change, repping that I'm 40 kilometres from Liverpool and actually work in Liverpool. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy watching the NFL. Oh, I can't wait, mate. I can't wait to watch the NFL. Really excited that it's back. It feels like an eternity. What was it, February, when the Super Bowl was on? So it feels like it's been a long, long, long time waiting for a new season. Who's a bigger statement signing, Wirtz or ISAK? So we asked this the other day, Stealth, because I was really interested, same as yourself, mate, in who that would be, and the answer was ISAK. I thought it would have been Wirtz, but we'll do it again if you want tonight after these polls. I'm sure that they said, I'm sure it was ISAK. I would have said Wirtz, but I'm sure it was ISAK. And the reason I said Wirtz is because that was the one that made me personally believe in the great summer we were going to have and that we were serious. And also, it was lovely to see that loads of top clubs went for him. City went for him, Bayern went for him. I think Madrid were at least interested in him, and then Liverpool came to the table and got the job done. So that was one that really gave me belief that not only will the owners put up the money, but that Liverpool are a destination. One thing I did love hearing constantly throughout the summer was how impressive Arna was when he was meeting with the players. Anybody that signed, when you hear them speaking about the presentation that was made by the likes of Richard Hughes and Arna, it seems like they definitely had their shit together and they were well prepared for these meetings. Lee Cox said, don't get NFL, it's so boring. So I used to be that way, and then I start betting on it, and then I start learning more about it, and now I love it for various reasons. Mainly because it's usually on quite late at night as well, when everyone else is in bed, so it gives me a chance to just chillax and watch it. Right, Max, how are we, sir? Lots of people on social media trolling ISAK for his skinny frame, saying some seriously vile stuff. It's hard as a fan to not let the haters annoy me. Dude, I get it, Max. I get it, mate. I'm not on social media, as I keep saying. I don't see any good in it. We need to be on there as a company. So Anfield Agenda have accounts. I don't have access to any of them. I'm not on X, Instagram, none of them. This is the only place, and Discord, where I'm on social media. So yeah, I'm not surprised, but people are assholes when they think there's no consequences, Max. That's what I would say. There's a big thing being made over here in Ireland at the minute because our Taoiseach, our Taoiseach, which would be like the Deputy Prime Minister, he's been getting some threats, as his family have, online, and it's kind of a big topic here at the minute, the state of social media, because these companies, they don't do anywhere near enough. Like, I've talked about some of the threats that we've received on here, some really vile, horrible stuff, and I went straight to YouTube to our manager and said, look, can you do something about this? And I was told unequivocally, no, but they're threatening to do this and this. No, they'd no interest. So we had to go directly to the police. They wouldn't even help us in any way. Had to go directly to the police. So I'm sure it's the same for a lot of these celebrities or whatever, or famous people. You know, I'm a nobody, and they're certainly not helping me. So I'd imagine it takes quite a lot to get the finger out. But they could police these so much better. My heart goes out to anybody who's receiving abuse on social media, because people just tell you to ignore it, but it's difficult, you know. And I can understand if you're a superstar like ISAK as well. I think Mo's advice to RIO and Mo was spot on. Just listen to your friends, family, get your praise from them or your criticism from them or whatever you need from them, but, you know, don't be going to shallow social media for it. Bobby said, hey Craig, still got a Kitty song stuck in my head. Sorry, mate. Sorry. My wife still hates it, but my little son is now on board, so Lucas is singing it every chance he gets as well to wind her up, and I love it. I do love it. Right, 14 subscribers to go, 1-4, and then we're there. Come on, folks. We got to get 14 subscribers to get us to 350k. We've got about 50 minutes left to get there. Right, let's keep going. Check in if we got the 1,000 votes yet. Nearly there, just over 200 votes to go. We're asking to grade Manchester City's window A, B, C or D. Rachel, good night to you. Have a good trip to London. ISAK gives Liverpool a real fear factor, said David. Opposition teams will have to concentrate their defence on him, opening up opportunities for all our other attackers. Definitely. Everybody always likes to belittle anything that we do. We brought in Wirtz, he was overpriced, he was as good as Cherky according to some people, which is just copium with the highest order. Brought in ISAK, and now all of a sudden they're trying to belittle and undermine that, when Arsenal fans were crying on social media, begging their own club to cancel the Victor Gyökeres signing to try to get ISAK. Now, the new thing with Arsenal fans is they're trying to convince themselves that if they had the money, ISAK would have only gone to them, that he only wanted Arsenal, and it was just because they hadn't got the money. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. But he isn't. He's a Liverpool player, and he's our number 9. And you're all going to be very, very, very concerned about that sooner or later, because when he hits the ground running, it's going to be a joy to watch. John, thank you for gifting 10 memberships as well. John from near Liverpool. Appreciate that, mate. Very kind of you. And I'm sure the people that receive them will be very happy. 9 subscribers to go. Oh, honestly, you don't understand how excited I get by these things. Like, 350,000 is ridiculous to me for a lad that only ever wanted 5 to 10,000 to start with. 350,000 is incredible. So if you can help us get there, it's always amazing to do it live on a stream. Right, more news. Let's keep going. Have we got to Manchester City's 200 votes yet? Nearly there, 100 to go. Right, let's keep going because I've got more stuff to go through. Let's go back to this one. Here's a little bit of an interesting stat for you. This was posted by Transfer News Live. Newcastle's entire club was bought by the PIF for £350 million in 2021. Liverpool's transfer spend this summer window alone was 412. So, you know, big boy club doing big boy things. But I was looking at Newcastle's transfer business earlier on. They spend quite a bit. From my count, a cursory glance at it, was something like 180 million. Something like that Newcastle spent. You're welcome, because it was only thanks to us you could afford that. Because the money we gave them, almost to the pound, they spent on Voltmada and Johan Visa. And I don't know what anybody else thinks, but the idea of that 125 million and who spent it better, I'm very happy with what we've got for the 125 million. I think Johan Visa, a steady, solid player that he is hugely overpriced. hugely overpriced. So I say hugely, Newcastle fans, because I mean hugely overpriced. But they didn't get any shit for it, did they? Because, you know, they bid at 25 when they ended up paying 55, but there was no talk of insult in the media. That was reserved for us, who bid 110 to 120 and got them for 125 in the end. It's mad, isn't it? Where was the energy to have a little pop at them? Peter, thank you, sir, for your super chat, mate. Very kind of you. Said, what's your opinion on our centre-back situation going forward? VVD probably are playing out contract plus 1 year maybe. Canada's situation is tricky, Gay and Leone. So I hope and want us, Peter, to go back in for Mark Gay, whether it be in January or at the end of the season. I do think he is a very good player to bring in for various reasons, leadership being one of them. The Leone one, I think, will prove to be a bargain over the course of time. But the one that concerns me is obviously Ibrahima Konate, because we don't know what's going on there. There was an article today that said, ironically, that we were having a look at Deo Upamecano's situation, as he's in the same situation as Konate contractually. But what I don't know is what is going on with Konate's contract. And on that, 1 second. There was a piece from Lewis Steele about Gay and going back in, and then I think there was another one around Konate. Bear with me. I just want to make sure I have the right story. Where was it? There was a story today about Konate from Lewis Steele. Let me go all the way back. Where's this piece? Sorry, I can't find the piece now. I had it earlier on. I don't have it at the moment. Did I put it into here? 1 sec. Yeah, I did. So, Lewis Steele, speaking about Konate's situation and whether he goes or leaves, he said, not necessarily, but it's fair to say Konate's future hangs in the balance at the time of writing. It was November when Richard Hughes first opened talks with Konate's representatives, and 10 months on, we're no closer to a resolution. Confidential, understand that Liverpool remain in talks with Konate's camp and want to wrap up the deal to ensure a position of strength for the future, but there's nothing more to say. It is not signed and there's been no definite indication either one way or another. But it is a worry for Liverpool, especially after the long-running sagas over contracts last year. So that's where we're currently at. I'd like to get it sorted out, because obviously none of us want to see Konate going on a free. Having him, having Mark Gay, having Konate, or excuse me, Virgil, Leone, Gomez, that's a great collection of centre-backs. So I hope that we can get it figured out. 1 sec, of something else to move on to in 1 sec. Thank you, Mark. Right, so we've now got the 1,000 votes, and the answer with 50% of the vote is that you guys grade Manchester City summer window as a C. 50% for C, 30% for B, D 15%, and A 4%. I agree. I think you're right with that one. It is probably a C for me as well. And thank you. We've done it. We've done it. Thank you to those. Do keep hitting the button now, because we want to make sure we keep moving. But wow, thank you so much. We have done it. And on a live stream as well, which always makes me so happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for helping us reach 350,000 subscribers. 350. Mark's just sent me a screenshot of it exactly as well. Legend, Mark. Thank you for that, mate. We've done it. Thank you all so much. That means a lot. I can now rest easy this weekend after hitting that. Thank you. I love doing them when we're live as well. So, Graham Bailey has been writing a little bit about Mark Gay, and he said Mark Gay will remain fully committed to Crystal Palace while with the club, and is not, nor has ever been, angered by the decision not to sell him to Liverpool. Gay is set to leave Palace on a free next year. So people keep talking about on a free next year. I've seen that quite a bit, but I haven't seen much written that says Liverpool are going to come back in January. So it'd be lovely to get some clarity on that. Because yes, we could get him on a free at the end of the season, but be nice to bring him in as well for the latter part of the Champions League or the knockout stages of that. Oh no, that's from ages ago. Sorry, where was I at? This one, David said, "Congratulations on the 350k." Thank you, David. I'm so happy, man. I am. It's amazing. Thank you. 500,000 is the next one up. Well, 400k, but 500,000 really. Wow. I'm so humbled and grateful to all of you for your support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you. Peter said, "Did you read the interview from Rabo?" I didn't actually, to be honest, Peter. Really feel for him, being an excellent servant for the club and was at his peak, one of the best left back in the world. No disagreement with you whatsoever, Peter, on the one of the best in the world, absolutely. This season, I hope Robbo can play himself into an extension because we all love him. He's an absolute rock. Vice captain now as well, or second captain, as Arne says sometimes. And I hope I hope he can play himself into an extension because that's what we all want. We want Andy Robertson being a very good option for us at left side, as well as Milos Kerkez, who absolutely was phenomenal against Arsenal. Alex, before you know it, you'll have 1 million. I don't know, man. I don't think we'll ever get 1 million. Or I don't know. Unless something drastic happens, I can't see the 1 million ever happening. But I am incredibly proud to be where we are now. But it wouldn't be anything without you guys being here. So big up yourselves, not me. I've the easy job here. You guys are what make us different. Misty said 350k, well deserved. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Misty. I'm so excited to have the few days off, but also petrified because I know I'll be looking in and thinking, right, if news breaks, I've got to be ready to go. But I do have some stuff that I forced myself into to distract myself for a few days. Paul said, "I don't believe Gay is not annoyed. Got to be." You know what? I don't believe it either, Paul. I know he probably has to say it to be professional, but I'm not buying it for 1 second. He's human. And I'm sure he can move past it, and I'm absolutely sure he could be a pro, but he's got to be disappointed at the way that worked out. He has to be. So, 1 sec. I promised somebody I'd come back to this on the bigger WoW signing, so let's do it this way. Which one of these was the bigger WoW signing for you? Wirtz or ISAK? We did it the other day. Honestly, I can't remember clearly what the answer was. So let's see it again. Biggest WoW signing for you guys, Wirtz or ISAK? And again, feel free to let me know your thought process in the comments as well. Right, where are we at? Oh, I want to just plug this as well while I have you guys here. Last ever show. Going to be in Liverpool the day of the Manchester United game. I'm going to be on straight from Anfield, straight to the Hot Water Comedy Club for our last ever show on stage. Not only is it our last ever one, but all the money that we receive from ticket sales for it, we're going to be putting into Joe's wheelchair basketball chair fund, which will help Joe continue his great work as well, and of course his own sporting journey. So if you want to come and see us, not only will you be getting to come and see us for the last time, but you'll be helping Joe in his quest for that wheelchair basketball chair. Tickets are priced at just £15, and it is our last ever one. So when they sell out, if they do, that'll be it. And I can't wait. I'm buzzing for it. Brian's coming over from Boston. We're going to have himself, his brother, and his brother's missus there. We're going to have Steve. We're going to have Chris. We're going to have music on the night as well. So, looking forward to it. Ah, cool. Thank you, Mark. Mark sent me a link to the interview with Robbo. Appreciate that, Mark. Studley, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Evening, Craig. Congratulations on reaching 350k followers. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. Casey said, "I think Wirtz, as other clubs were in the running for him, big statement for him to come to us." Yeah, I get that completely. For me, it was Wirtz, but because it just made me believe that we were going to have this big summer. And it was a great way to kick it all off as well. It felt like a deal that seemed to take an age to get confirmed, but glad it did. Joe's in the chat there as well. Joe, that gentleman is the gentleman that we are trying to help raise the money for that wheelchair basketball chair. So if you are coming to see us in Liverpool, not only are you hopefully going to have a good night, but we are, as I said, donating all of our ticket sale money from our side to that fund to help Joe get the wheelchair basketball chair, which he absolutely deserves for being a legend of a human being. Right, let's keep going. Where are we at? So, for people coming in wondering about the RIO and Gamoa stuff from the stream title, it all comes from an article from Spain, from Defensa Central, that said the 17-year-old Liverpool starlet is being monitored by Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, but I don't think we've anything to worry about in that regard, because I don't think RIO be going anywhere. He's going to sign that first professional contract with Liverpool, and I'd say he'd probably have another one by the end of the season as well, if he has a good season. Tony said, thank you, Craig, for what you do for the community. You're a legend and a true gent. Hey, it's my pleasure. Honestly, I have the easiest job, mate. You guys are awesome. So it makes my my life really, really easy, coming on here to chat with good people every night. Jay Cliff said, Craig, definitely feel it's Wirtz. I can see him being a Ballon d'Or winner one day. I agree. I think Wirtz definitely has the ability to win a Ballon d'Or one day. He is phenomenal, and again, very young still as well, which I think a lot of people from the outside seem to forget. Radinki said, positionally, Wirtz is a better long-term signing. He's young, still with a lot of growth and potential. Hugo said, it seems one of those that Flo needs time, but he will come good. DJT said, I can't wait until Wirtz settles in and shows what he can do. Hold on to your seats. Oh, he's going to be incredible. Honestly, anybody, and I'm not talking about our own fan base, but anybody that does have any doubts about him, I think those doubts are going to be very unfounded, because when he settles in, like many of you have said in the chat, I think he's going to be phenomenal. And I think we're going to, again, not be talking about the price. Right, Michael Elise, let's talk a little bit here. So, Lewis Steele is now pretty much backing up what Bayern Space had said and that we highlighted a few weeks ago, which was Liverpool want a long-term Mohamed Salah replacement in the next summer or two, and the early noises are that Michael Elise could be right at the very top of Liverpool's shopping list. He said, we can't say too much more than that yet, but could be one to watch. And I think it is one to watch, because every bit of information that I've been able to gather as well does show that Liverpool are at least very interested in Michael Elise. You never be arrogant and say he's going to come to Liverpool, because he's at a big club. Bayern are a big club. But there is a release clause that we know about. And from the Bayern Space accounts reporting yesterday, it seems like they think eventually that the money will come in for Elise, and that will help fund some of their other business longer term. Where were we at? Misty, Nessie, thank you. Very appreciative of your 2 years with us now, Nessie, as a member. Appreciate your support. And Stevie said, evening all, Craig, love your attitude. Social media drains my soul. By the way, if all goes south with Trent, would you take him back? I'm on the fence. I don't want him back, as in, not from a I don't like him perspective. I just don't think we need him. So, in that regard, no. But if it was something the club and the manager wanted to do in the future, it would depend on a lot of things. There'd be a few variables. My initial instinct is to say no, though. And not, again, out of any type of bad blood or anything, just don't think we need him. And we'd still probably have the same conversations that we have before we left about where's his best role, should he be moved here, are we leaving ourselves too open. I think we'll find the balance with what we have, and yeah, so I'm going to say no for me personally, mate. But like I said, that's not based off any hatred or anything like that. Peter said, ISAK, top 3 strikers in the world, Haaland, Mbappe and ISAK. Look, I don't want to put a rating on him, Peter, but I will say I'm extremely happy that he's a Liverpool player, and looking forward to what he's going to do. Be interesting to see how quickly Arne can get him up to speed, though, and how quickly he settles in. But we've brought in 2 phenomenally good strikers for a combined £204 million in ISAK and Ekitike, and I'll take that every day of the week. Billy Beckner said, we really don't need right backs at the moment. And I agree, Billy. We don't. We've got 3, if you include Dom, which we are kind of having a fun conversation about. But we've certainly got Bradley and Frimpong and Gomez who can play there as well. VI Jokers, how are you, dude? Said, do Real Madrid actually bring through any of their own players from their academy instead of nicking everyone else's? Did Diaz come through? Brahim, did he come through? I don't really pay too much attention to their academy. I never really have. As I've said, when I look at Spain, I always look into Barca because that's my first football jersey, and Barca were my Spanish club, so I always keep an eye on their situation. But don't really know too much about Madrid's academy. You know, obviously everybody knows about La Masia, but it's a really good question. I'm going to have to do some research on that one because I really don't know much about their academy at all. Even I couldn't even name for you some players who've come through their academy that stand out off the top of my head. Did you see Tony Cruz's comments, by the way, about ISAK saying that half of the viewers probably won't even know who ISAK is? The fuck? Come on. I know Tony Cruz has to try and be edgy and all for his new podcast, but come on. I'm sure people know who exactly Alexander Isak is. Only Carvajal is from their academy, said Sharkovic. Well, to be fair, they've got great value out of Danny Carvajal. Great servant to Spanish football and to Madrid. Garcia was the one I was thinking of, not Brahim Diaz, sorry. I knew Brahim Diaz was Man City's academy, but I still thought it was the other player. The guy that was playing in the Club World Cup through the middle, it's the number 9 for them. Without wearing the number 9, you know what I'm talking about. Whoever that was. Gonzalo Garcia, yes, that's the one. Did he come through their academy? Paul said, don't forget Ekitike, Isak dribbling skills are amazing too. Yeah, Isak can score all kinds of different goals. And we've already seen from Ekitike as well. He knows how to put them in the back of the net. And I was very impressed with his goal against Newcastle. Was it Newcastle? The one he passed into the net. No, sorry, not Newcastle. Was it Newcastle? It was the second goal, wasn't it? So, it's a very close vote, this one. Bigger wow signing, Wirtz or Isak? It's really close at the minute. Raul Asensio, good shout. Khalid, good shout, sir. Thank you. The real Johnny Sin said, I swear Fabinho came through Madrid's Castilla academy. I know he certainly played for them. I can't remember if he came through the academy or not. Like I said, I don't really know much about Madrid's academy system. Vava Knives said, that's because Cruz's audience are the Madrid fans. Oh yeah, the Madrid. I love what you've done with the word fans there as well, mate, because I agree. Yeah, I've not, like, they're such an entitled fan base. From my brief interactions with some of them on social media over the years, my God, they are the epitome of the glory hunting little shits. It's phenomenal. What score did the Dutch game end up? Did it finish 1-1? I know you guys I'd seen somebody said there was an equaliser in that game. But let me know what that one finished if you can. And again, do keep voting on this. We're looking for the bigger wow signing, Wirtz or Isak. Yeah, finish 1-1. Thank you, MB. Appreciate you. That's not a great result, is it? At home against Poland, you will be looking at them to win that one. And the Germany end up losing 2-0. I know that you guys had said they'd gone 2-0 down there. Was it Slovakia or Slovenia? It was one of those they were playing. Matty Cash equalised late. It's so weird to think Matty Cash playing for Poland, isn't it? That's still weird. 2-0. They lost. Wow. That's a shocking result for Germany to lose 2-0. I know they were away, but still, I know David Hanko scored the first goal, but God, you would think they would have turned that around and got a result. That's not a great start. And they've got Northern Ireland, I believe, next at home, so should get a result there. Khalid said 3-0 Spain. I'd seen that, mate. It was 3-0, I think, at half time. Cucurella, I can't remember who scored the first one. Oh, I know it was Marino, Cucurella, and then God, who was it with their first goal? Arasabal, I think, if my memory's right. I think they were Spain's 3-goal scorers. Thoughts on Jose Enrique? I don't know what you mean. As in, I'm good. I'm glad Jose Enrique has his full health after what he went through. He was an okay player for us. I do find him, without knowing him, a little bit cringy at times when I see him do a few bits and pieces, but he seems like he's got a good heart and a kind spirit, and I'm glad he's healthy, but not really a huge fan. Holland need a number 9, said Paul Egerty. Yeah, they do. It's actually astounding that a country as good as Holland doesn't really have a top notch number 9 there. Can't wait for Sweden's game tomorrow. I want to see our boy in action. I wonder how much game time he'll get. I did see he's not doing any interviews till after Sweden's game, which is interesting. James Bond said, miss you, Craig. Thank you, sir. What a player Pedri is, by the way. Such a brilliant player. He is. He's a wonderful talent. Xavi Simons was so off today. Wonder how he'll do with Spurs. Spurs, I'm not impressed with Spurs' business outside of Kudus, to be honest. Kolo Muani, I think, is so-so. Simons will be hit and miss, in my opinion. I think he'll be up and down. Yeah, I'm not really overly impressed with Spurs' business either this summer. I do think we had the best window. Arsenal had a very good window, but not an outstanding window. Germany's like Chelsea, great players, but not gelling as a team. Well, I wonder, will Jurgen ever get that job that will Nagelsmann, you see through the World Cup surely, but I wonder will Kloppo get a sniff after that? Do you think we could ever prize Kvaratskhelia away from PSG? Probably not now, Johnny Rico. No, I think we did have a little sniff around at the last minute, but it seemed like he had his heart set on the move. And to be fair, he won 2 leagues in one season there with Serie A and the French division. Won the Champions League, French Cup, French Super Cup. He's a pretty good year, Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Craig Mourinho said he has unfinished business at United. Yeah, please make that happen. Anything at all that just makes me get to laugh at United more, make it happen. Bring them all back. Make like a transformer manager out of like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralph Rangnick and Jose Mourinho and Ruben Amorim. Just put them all together and like Transformers and put them all into a super manager and see if they can't come up with a half decent set of results then. How are you? I'm good, Joshua. I'm good. I'm excited for a few days off. I'm tired, but I'm good, thank you. And I'm going to watch the Sweden game tomorrow. No, I'm going to be at boxing. I'm going to a boxing event up in Dublin tomorrow night. Mick Conlan's fighting, so going to go up and watch that. So, no, won't be watching Sweden. Craig, I don't care how desperate Bayern are. Paying 70 million for Nicholas Jackson is just disgusting. He's shocking for that money. I get it. I agree. I don't understand how they agreed to pay that much. But they did, and yeah, it's mad. Considering the fans moaned about the money for Diaz, at least Diaz is in there banging in goals straight away, and they're seeing that they've got a very good player in Lucho. Any chance of a quick recap? Yeah, certainly. Let me fly through it. Now, I do have a late night news video coming out that we haven't discussed most of the topics on because I tried to keep them separate where possible. But we'll fly through a recap for anybody coming in a bit late. So, started off with the title of tonight's stream around Rio Engamoa. It was an article in Defensa Central in Spain that said Rio is being closely monitored by Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, who are seriously interested in him. After that, we had a piece on Transfer News Live, sourcing Bild in Germany, that said, breaking, the reasons Erik ten Hag was sacked at Bayer Leverkusen. He didn't get along with anybody at the club, not even his own staff that he had brought to Germany himself. The players didn't understand why doing push-ups was as important as ball work. The atmosphere within the club was extremely cold. The players had no idea what they were supposed to do during matches, and he is now considered the worst coach in the history of the club. Some achievement from Tin Lasso there. Hugo Ekitike and Dominic Szoboszlai been nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month award for August, so best of luck to both. Lewis Steele said it can now be revealed that Liverpool have a pre-existing agreement in place with Kwanzaa over the terms of a future contract should they decide to use their buyback clause that was inserted when he was sold to Bayer Leverkusen. We believe that is about 52 million, that buyback. He also went on to speak about Liverpool's want for a long-term Mohamed Salah replacement in the next summer or two. He said the early noises are that Michael Olise could be right at the top of Liverpool's shopping list. Then, about ISAK, he said the plan is for him to train with his new Liverpool teammates when they report back for duty at the AXA Training Centre next Thursday, and I would expect to see him on the bench at Turf Moor for the game against Burnley. Next up was whether Liverpool would go back in or not for Mark Gay. Sticking with Lewis Steele, he said yes. I asked this question to many sources around Liverpool on Monday, and the word back was that they still really like him and want him to play for them. As far as I'm aware, the Reds are plotting another move for Gay in the near future that would probably get an even bigger discount on. Mohamed Salah has been speaking about getting used to some new signings at the club, and he said, I knew where to start with Diogo or Darwin. I knew where to find them. I knew their game very well, but with Hugo, he's still new. Sometimes I need the ball in the field, sometimes I need it in space. We try to figure that out through the training sessions or like the videos the manager shows us. So I'll figure it out soon because he's going to help my game to grow as well. Then we talked about Parma, kind of letting us know that they also turned down an offer from Newcastle from Giovanni Leone. Their, I think, sporting director said, I've always said we wanted to keep Giovanni Leone and he's always said he'd be happy to stay here. We turned down an offer from Newcastle, which was more advantageous than the one Liverpool eventually made. When the Reds came forward, our plans changed, both because the offer was very attractive and because the boy made it clear he was happy to take advantage of this opportunity. On the one hand, it's disappointing to lose such a promising young player, but on the other, we're proud to have believed in him in unsuspecting times when he'd only played a few games in Serie B. Then it was Mohamed Salah giving some advice to young Rio Ngamoa. Speaking about social media after he scored his goal against Newcastle, he said, I told Rio after the game, just leave the social media alone. You can be happy about the goal with your family and your friends, but don't really get engaged and just get your appreciation from the outside world because it's always going to be fake. You're always going to try to seek that. Again, good advice from Mo. Then there was the brilliant news from The Athletic about the 20 million redevelopment of their academy at Kirby. So this piece here says Liverpool are set to embark on a £20 million redevelopment of their academy, the biggest transformation of their youth training base since it was opened in 1998. Owners Fenway Sports Group view it as a recognition of the huge contribution the academy have made to Liverpool's success in recent years. An indoor dome will be built on the current main pitch and connected to the existing academy building, which will undergo an extensive revamp on the site at Kirby, 9 miles northeast of the city. The dome will give Liverpool a full-size indoor pitch for the first time. There will be enhanced medical and sports science areas. The outdoor artificial surface will be replaced with a grass pitch, which will become the centrepiece with a new stand for around 500 spectators, and a planning application is to be submitted this month. Liverpool hope to have it all done in 2028. Then James Pearce said data shows that Liverpool's academy products accounted for 18% of the total Premier League minutes played under Arne Slot in the Premier League title-winning season last season, the highest percentage of any other club in the top flight, with Manchester United at 16.3%, second, and Chelsea at 14.5%, third. Then we went on to talk about the money Liverpool recouped from some academy graduates this summer, and that was 8.4 million for Trent, 18 million for Caoimhín Kelleher, 3 million for Nat Phillips, Jarell Quansah brought in 30 million, Tyler Morton 13, and Ben Doe 25. Then there was an interview with Cody Gakpo where he spoke a little bit about the Bayern Munich interest in him. He said, from what I understand, they did come. I already told the club that I'm happy, my family is happy in England, we feel at home, and I think that's very important. He also said that it took about a year for them to talk through this contract and get it in place. Then we spoke about Ben Bocak's piece that said trainee only played as a left back for England's under-19 side this week, completing 93% of his passes and winning 2 out of 3 ground duels. Then we just basically ranked other clubs' transfer business, and that's where we're at. James, thank you for your super chat. James said, who's your favourite young player that's come through the academy ranks in the last 5 years? Ooh, good question. Probably Jaden Dance, if I'm being honest. I know he hasn't really burst onto the scene enough yet, but probably him. Bradley's another impressive one coming through. Yeah, I'm going to say with Jaden Dance. Oh, Barry, how are we? Wow, this one came out of nowhere, Barry. Thank you. Said, Craig, just want to congratulate yourself, Connor, and everybody along the way who has helped grow this channel into a powerhouse. You're the most genuine and humble footy content creator I've watched. AA's community is amazing, and you deserve a lot. Much love. You'll never walk alone in WFM. Thank you, Barry. I agree with you 100% about the community. I always do. It's an incredible group of people that I'm very, very honoured to be at the head of. Is that the right way to say it? I feel like I don't deserve too much credit, to be fair, but I'm very glad that we are where we are. And again, to everyone that helped us on this journey to get to 350,000 subscribers, thank you. And again, Barry, absolute legend, mate. Thank you so much. And he's gifted 50 memberships as well. Wow. There you go. So not only did Barry generously put in £100 super chat, but he's gifted 50 memberships, and enjoy those to everyone that gets them in the chat. Absolute legend. So we will be back for another podcast episode next week, by the way. Myself, Chris, and Steve will be recording again on Tuesday. Just a reminder, by the way, folks, that when we finish up in about 15 minutes, this is our last live stream until Monday. I'm taking the weekend off to have some very much needed R&R. And yeah, nice. Did you hear about the partnership with Hayer? Must be more money in the pot. I did, yeah. I was reading about that earlier on, Nick. I think I have it in my late night news notes as well, that Liverpool have, of course, agreed. And I didn't realise that they were the parent company of Candy, which, of course, Liverpool previously had a long-term relationship with. Suleiman said, Kirkes. That's my favourite signing. What are you trying to say, though, Suleiman? He's a brilliant signing, mate. The perfect left back for us as well. So, we had asked you, who is the bigger wow signing? We'll see if we can get it to 1,500 votes. But is it Wirtz or is it ISAK? Which one is the bigger wow signing? Stephen, thank you, sir. Again, very kind of you, sir. Giant congratulations on 350,000. Couldn't happen to a better man. What fun on Saturdays. Try college football. I'm trying to get into college football. So Chad has been really kind and sent me over a load of really lovely Nebraska Cornhuskers hoodies, t-shirts, baseball caps. So I'm fully repping the Huskers at this point because they're Adidas, they're red, it works. So yeah, that's where I'm at with college football. But it's difficult to find the coverage of it over here as well as much. Such an aggressive fella. I don't know if that's aimed at me or Milos Kerkez, but either way, I'll take it. Lee, how are you? Morgan Rogers rumours don't seem to be going away. Lots of links after selling Elliott to Villa so we can go in for Rogers next summer. You're right about the links. I've seen some people closer to the club say some things that they don't think there's much to those links. I really don't know. I don't have information on that myself, Lee, that I can add anything to. But certainly understandable, right? Morgan Rogers is PFA Young Player of the Year and had a very good season with Villa. And Villa are kind of all over the shop at the minute. So if it keeps going that way, maybe they will look to sell him in the future with PSR and all that. Stel said my favourite team is the Dolphins. For me, it's the Packers. But yeah, I can't wait for tonight. Really, I'm looking forward to the NFL being back. Did ISAK just comment? I don't think this is the real Alexander ISAK. I think he might be a little bit busy. But either way, we'll pretend it is. Alex, lovely to have you in, fella. Thank you so much. And we're delighted to sign for the club as well, dude. Delighted. Was I in the Kirkes? Forgot him in that message. All good, all good. He is. I love that aspect of his game as well. Sharkovic. He's very aggressive. He is. I love it. What's this? Oh, cool. That was for something else. Right, we've got 10 minutes to go, and then I will be seeing you guys on Monday. So any other comments or anything else you guys want to fly through, do lash it in. I'll do my best to get to it. Paul McGrath, thank you, bro. Very kind of you, Paul. Thank you, sir. I just recorded another cameo earlier on today as well. Still makes me chuckle. The amount of I don't think I've done a cameo yet that isn't a birthday wish, actually, but it was really fun. I love recording them. It's so lovely to get to talk to other Liverpool fans around the world as well. What's the news with Ibu? The news is that nobody really knows what's going on, is the truth. Liverpool presents them with the contract offer, I think was November, and still nothing at the minute. We're still none the wiser as to what happens. Matteo said, when Arsenal finish second and sack Arteta, how much of their squad do they sell and who would you go in for? Well, Saka is one person you'd be looking at. Now, obviously, you kind of do have to look at his hamstring injuries, but off the top of my head, I don't think we'll ever move for Declan Rice, to be fair, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I still think if their fans had anything about them, they'd actually have put more pressure on Arteta to be sacked at this point. You know, he's had 5.5 years and one trophy, which was in his first season, and since then spent over £1 billion and has delivered nothing except Champions League football. Anthony said, Craig, been watching for years, just want to say keep it up, you've come a long way. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. It's been a mad journey, honestly. Sometimes I think back about it and just laugh. It's been nuts. The real Johnny Sin said, Craig, for me, Arsenal are still weak on the wings. Saka and Trossard are the only ones I rate. Madueke and Gabby Martinelli are shite. I don't understand the Madueke signing. Even speaking with Lee Gunner about it, he's not happy about them making that signing either, as an Arsenal fan. John said, Arne for manager of the month for August, should we be giving him a new contract? Yes. Good point, John. I do hope we get to that soon, because he signed a 3-year deal, if I remember right, when he came in, and he's now into year 2 of that. So yeah, I'm sure that the owners will be looking to tie Arne down to a new deal as soon as possible. He certainly earned it, hasn't he? Simon Tennant said he'd take Saka and Wanyeri. The hopeful guy said Saka, Saliba, Gabriel and Rice. Melo Brown said it's a tough call to say who the biggest WoW signing is. One with massive potential and the other with a massive reputation already. Big love to you, Craig, top man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. It is a tough one. We're nearly at the 1,500 votes. We've about 38 more to get, and then we'll call it. So we're asking you guys, who is the bigger WoW signing from Florian Wirtz and Alexander ISAK? It's Mr. Simplicity. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Thank you for becoming a member. And also, if you can't hit a like for me, we're 176 away from 1,000 likes. So if you can do me a little favour and hit that like button, that will be incredible. Max Dowman and Zubamendi said shit crew. Saka too injury prone. I take Rice. That's it. Well, to be fair, Dowman's a great show. I'd forgotten about Max Dowman, but he looks like a real talent. Arne's running down his contract to join Arsenal when Arteta gets sacked. Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably not going to happen. The second part of it anyway. Or sorry, Arne joining Arsenal. Come on now. He already turned down the Spurs job previously and the Leeds job, I think he was offered. Don't forget, Virgil and Mo were both in the last year of their contracts when they signed. Patience on Ibu. Yeah, but we didn't like that. We didn't like that at all, mate, did we? It's just, I don't know. It's not great luck for the club when you players are going into their last year like this, and it puts everybody on edge as well because we don't know what the future is going to be there. I'd like a resolution to it. I'd love to know what's happening with it. Right, we've got 1,500 votes now, and we asked you who's the bigger WoW signing, and 55% said that Alexander ISAK is the bigger WoW signing, and 45% saying Florian Wirtz. I would be in the 45% camp personally. I would say Wirtz because I think that was the one that made me believe, and the one that I think really showed Liverpool's pulling power and financial muscle. Christina van der Merve said, I would take Olise over Saka any day. As would I, Christina. As would I, my friend. I'd be right there with you. Not even close. Thanks for doing that poll for me. All good, Stealth. My pleasure. Always happy to oblige when we can. Right, 116 likes to go to get to 1,000. I'm from Texas and plan attending a match next year. Where is a good place to buy tickets? So I can't really give you an answer because I bought tickets for games previously and Brian got tickets for the United game and we had to go and buy the hospitality ones. So, you know, we paid through the nose for them, in all honesty. So that's the only way I can get tickets, mate. I don't have a mate who was a season ticket or and I can ring up. So I used to have a sponsor that would sort us out with some as well, but we no longer work with that particular brand. So yeah, I don't have any way of getting them except buying them through the club's hospitality section, which is expensive. Rio's up for goal of the month as well. Mark let me know. Thank you, Mark, which I didn't actually know, which is pretty cool. So hopefully Rio gets in with a shout for that one. But I think with some of the other great goals, it'll be a tough one. Will I watch Macca later today? I'll probably keep an eye on the score, but I'll be watching the NFL if I'm being really honest. I think he's a 12:30 and Brazil are 1:30, if my memory's right. Surely there's decent sites for tickets. There is, but I don't like to recommend anybody to go anywhere that may blow back on them. You know, I've heard so many Liverpool fans who've bought tickets from Facebook groups or others that get shafted, and I don't want to have anybody, especially somebody coming from the other side of the world, like America or anything. I don't want to have them wasting their money and getting themselves over to Liverpool only to get shafted by some website or something. So, you know, I always try to go safe on these things because it's a lot of money somebody's committing for the trip. Who's my NFL team? The Packers. What happened to the Manscaped sponsor? We decided to knock that on the head, to be honest with you. That was our call. And the reason why I decided not to continue on with it was saturation. You know, there's only so long that you can pitch something to an audience without them getting fed up of it and without it hitting a saturation point. So when we completed our last deal with them, I said to Connor, let's not bother renegotiating because I think it's time to move on. So I decided to go with a sponsor instead. But we do have the new thing we were talking about we're going to have for the Burnley game, which is our own fantasy. So we're going to be running a fantasy football game every single match day now where you can compete against me, and it will be, I think, about £5 to buy into, and we'll talk you through that next week when we get closer to the Burnley game. But yeah, that one's going to be coming in and I can't wait for it. It's really fun. Do I think Rio will go to Madrid? No. Rio is a Liverpool fan, so I think Rio's quite happy where he is. But doesn't stop clubs like Madrid sniffing around, but they won't be getting him. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say goodnight to you. I'm going to say goodbye to you for a few days as well. We will have a news update video with some topics we haven't discussed yet tonight that will be coming out before 11. Do hit the like button for me before you head off if you can. We'll have a video where I'll be giving you my take on Liverpool summer transfer business overall. I'll put that out over the next couple of days. But I won't see you again until Monday night when I'll be back for a late night agenda. So have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Thank you to everybody that helped us on our journey so far to get to 350,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing and I can't thank you enough. So yes, we will see you on Monday. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. And then from Monday, we can finally start counting down to the Reds being back in action.